Thinking about moving near Disney, but you're torn between Celebration and Lake Nona? One feels like a futuristic city, and the other feels like something right out of a Disney movie set. Well, today we're going to break down the housing, the HOAs, the amenities, and the lifestyle, so you can decide for yourself.
Are you ready to experience the city beautiful? Welcome to Living in Orlando with me, Ruth Klaers.
So today, let's see which one fits you best and find your perfect Disney home. Celebration is Disney designed, and they have created a very nostalgic atmosphere, complete with amenities like farmers markets, holiday celebrations. I mean, they have fake snow for Christmas right downtown in Celebration. And it's kind of like a community that is intentionally built around this hub. There's cute little shops, ice cream parlor, movie theater, it's coming back, and a hotel right downtown, and along with some really great restaurants. The atmosphere there is very much like you are living in a Norman Rockwell painting. It's intentionally designed. They have pattern books that dictate the build of a house, the colors of a house, the plants of a house. Everything from the sublime to the ridiculous is outlined in these pattern books, and you're expected as a resident to uphold those standards with your property, right down to making sure the handle and the lock on your doors match. If not, you could be fined. If you choose to remove a plant or are even asked to remove a plant by the HOA due to damage or hurricane damage, whatever it is that makes that plant no longer viable, you still need to file it with the HOA, just because otherwise down the road it could actually come up in an opportunity where you're trying to sell or buy a property because it isn't to the standard of the HOA. Even though they are quite strict, they are pretty reasonably priced as far as HOAs go. There are some that are much higher and maybe a little less strict. Both communities, they definitely cater to a family environment. You can obviously be, a young professional in any one of these locations, or a family, however you see fit. However, if you are looking for something that screams Disney, when you're in Celebration, if you don't see something Disney on a front porch every few blocks, there's something wrong. There's lampposts with the Mickey Mouse icon. There's wreaths. People have decorated the houses to go with a nod to Disney. For Christmas, Mickey and Minnie are everywhere. It's very Disney-centric. So if you want to be in an atmosphere that just caters to that type of feeling every minute, Celebration might be the better place for you. Lake Nona, on the other hand, is very modern, very tech forward. It's pretty spread out. It is different microcosms within the overall area. You have Laureate Park, Nona Isle, Boxy Park, the Medical City, and everything is kind of clustered around it. There's also the Village Walk part of Lake Nona, which is a really sweet little gated community that has its own center where you can even get your gas inside the community. There's a there's an elementary school right next door within walking distance. Many people walk their children to the school. In Lake Nona, you've got gyms, you've got tech hubs, you've got parks, golf, and pools, fitness center. So pretty much the common thread would be the pools and the outdoor spaces that they maintain. Back when Lake Nona was just starting out, the OG, if you will, there was one subdivision and it was called Lake Nona. It's now referred to as Lake Nona Estates, and this is where the golf and country club of the area reside. There are some patio homes that are smaller, and by patio homes, these are really close proximity to each other. It's like a little offshoot of the main community, but the most desirable homes in the Lake Nona Estates are those built on the golf course. Those are very expensive because of their proximity to the golf course, but every single home in Lake Nona Estates outside of the patio homes looks completely different from one another, and many of them are just sprawling estates. The other thing about Lake Nona Estates is they truly take it seriously as to the people in their community. When you go into the country club, which you are required to be a member of and you are required to spend a certain amount a month, you are greeted by name. They know who you are. Everyone knows who you are. And you're not even an owner for an hour and they know who you are, which I think is part of its charm. And you immediately feel like you belong. Whether you were worried about that or not, whether you're somebody that's used to being called by name or someone who's never had that happen to you, it does create a certain celebrity status lifestyle, if you will. And it's a beautiful sensation when you are brand new to that kind of experience. That is one of the things that they do very well in Lake Nona Estates. As far as Lake Nona goes, it's a little more high-tech, innovation-oriented. Because of Medical City, there tends to be a fairly concentrated number of medical professionals that live there, or people that are up-and-coming residents or going to school. There's a teaching hospital there, and that does kind of dictate the neighbors, if you will, because they are going to be looking to be in close proximity to that. And why not live right down the street from the hospital you're going to be working for if you're going to be called in all the time? HOA fees in Lake Nona Estates can be roughly about $1,000 a month, plus whatever it is that you would be spending in the clubhouse for meals, or golfing, things like that. And it's a beautiful clubhouse. They have weddings there. They have Sunday brunch there, which is absolutely amazing. And, of course, you can just have a couple of beverages or lunch between courses or shots. And they do have a pro shop there as well. When you're in the newer section of Lake Nona, closer to Medical City, and you're in a single family home, your HOA is under $200 a month, which is pretty fair based on all the other HOAs that exist. And, they do take great care and pride in their amenities. Of course, you've got the downtown area and the gym, and you also have, the groundskeeping, etc., things like that. Single family homes in the Laureate Park, Lake Nona area are typically going to have an HOA that's under $200, and they cover the fitness center, the pool, the parks, the dog walking area, the recreational facilities, kind of keeping Boxy Park up to, the standards, not being run down, and, different activities that might happen in the area. That's pretty reasonable. When you're getting into the townhomes and the condominiums, they're going to be a little bit more expensive, again, because of the structure that they're also maintaining for the property owners. As far as commute time to the parks, Celebration is pretty much right there. You're talking maybe 10, 15 minutes. You kind of have a straight shot from Celebration right down 192, or you can use the 417 to get right to Disney. Either way, it's pretty outside of the I-4 traffic, so it creates a nice little bubble. Lake Nona, basically you're going to add around 10-20 minutes to that commute. You're dealing with 417 traffic, which is pretty clean most of the time. Every once in a while there's moments where it's a little congested, but it's a straight shot. And what's really nice is it's also right by the airport. So if you are somebody that's going to be commuting back and forth, you might want to consider that as your destination because of the proximity to the airport and the ease in which you get to Disney. I guess the difference between the two communities would be as far as you living near Disney, how close do you want to be? Do you want to be right in their backyard? Do you want to be a little bit removed so that you're going to be going to Disney every week or so, or be in Celebration where you can literally go there every day, or just watch the fireworks from your backyard? It's pretty simple. The difference between the two communities is truly the building structure itself. There's a lot more stucco and geometric design in Lake Nona, whereas Celebration has kind of a antebellum nostalgic vibe. They all have front porches, typically have ceiling fans on them. So comparing the two, Celebration has, kind of a premium charm, if you will, the Disney charm. And Lake Nona has a little bit more value oriented and newer look, new construction, although they are doing some new builds in Celebration as well, but they will have to adhere to the pattern book. So it'll still look kind of like Celebration. The nice part about having a community that has a personality is you pretty much know what you're getting and you know what it's going to look like. So to kind of give you an overview of the differences in what amenities are available, we touched on them a little bit, but in Celebration, you've got the town center, you've got walking trails, you've got pools and clubhouses scattered throughout each community, and your HOA based on community is going to be based on maintaining that and the master plan. And they also have their events and that city center area. It's just going to be the vibe that you get. Like, for example, in Celebration at their downtown area, they've got a giant, a large lake. And it's got rocking chairs situated all around for you to just sit and stare at the lake, hang out. Lake Nona has Boxy Park, which is a little bit more of a high vibe. It's not a chill atmosphere necessarily, but it is an active, atmosphere. A little bit more because you've got bands playing and the food court type of vibe. So it's a little more, a little more up and coming generational type feel. And I think between those two, that does create a big difference in the vibe that you're looking for. I hope this has given you some insight into which community is your vibe. Whether it's Celebration or Lake Nona, let us know in the comments. And if you are very interested in finding out a little bit more about which one is going to be perfect for you, schedule some time on our calendar. We'll help you explore. We'll be your feet on the ground, give you some more insight into the homes that might be of interest to you. Whether it's 9 days or 90 days from now, we're happy to help you out. Until next time, take joy.